delay tactics. Just hours into the 30-day special session, it is becoming clear that one of the strategies some House lawmakers are using to push back against the governor's list of priorities is to try to run out the clock.
KXAN's political reporter Phil Prazin is here live with what lawmakers have to get to first.
Well, Robert and Shannon, Governor Abbott put 20 items on the special session call. A lot of these are hot-button controversial issues. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says he wants to pass all of these. Speaker of the House Joe Straus does not. So expect them to delay on the first one. Technically, it's the only thing lawmakers can work on at first. It's known as a sunset bill, and without it, several medical and mental health agencies will cease to exist in September. And a Texas Medical Association board member told me that this threat is simply unprecedented.
I'd have to say it's very frustrating. The situation we're in is really a game of politics.
The Texas Medical Board ensures Texas doctors are licensed and have the authority to write prescriptions. If nothing is done by the fall, we will have unregulated medicine. Earlier this spring, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick didn't allow lawmakers to continue the agency because the House didn't pass his priorities, a property tax cap and a bill restricting bathroom use to biological sex. And this is a side effect.
It's a little unknown as what will happen if the TMB goes away. It's never happened before. It's sort of going to be the Wild West.
On day one of the special session, Patrick's Senate changed its pace. Despite Democrat attempts to delay, senators suspended their rules to send the medical board bill to the House as soon as Wednesday. That's where Round Rock Representative Larry Gonzalez says they'll get to work.
These bills were held hostage. Not my word. They were held hostage and they were killed for a purpose. My goal is to come back here and pass these bills like we should have passed them in May.
The Texas House will not move as fast. Leaders there are in no rush to get to the other 19 more controversial items the governor put on the call.
We are comfortable with the Speaker's approach. We're going to be deliberate. We're going to prioritize the bills that need to be prioritized.
And some of those controversial measures lawmakers can tackle after continuing the medical board are pro-life, abortion restrictions, several bills taking away power from city government and putting it in the hands of the state lawmakers, and again, the Texas Privacy Act, critics dub the bathroom bill. Those debates are coming in the next 30 days. Phil Prazin, KXAN News.
The Dallas Convention and Visitors Bureau says SB 4, the state's new immigration law that takes effect in September, has already cost the state $66 million in lost bookings. And it says not repealing SB 4 and adding new bathroom regulations could cost the state more than $1 billion.
Should a bathroom bill or other discriminatory legislation pass in Texas, we are on the hook for another $205 million that will cancel the day after a bathroom bill passes, should that happen, God forbid. And then an additional $1.1 billion is on the line. They're waiting to see what happens with discriminatory legislation in Texas before they make a final decision.
Representative Ramon Romero has filed a bill now to repeal SB 4, but it is likely to go nowhere. And the reason why is because it's not one of the 20 items on the governor's list. Should it come up for a reading, another member could call a point of order and kill the bill.